Sheriff's deputies who work inside the Wayne County Jail have always had dangerous jobs.
And their decisions can mean the difference between life and death.
Just last year, one inmate was brutally murdered by his cellmate after a sheriff's deputy went missing from his assignment. He later resigned. Well, today, the sheriff's office is struggling with severe understaffing, with the jail currently 344 deputies short.
So, did the sheriff's office lower its standards when it hired one deputy with a troubling past?
Here's 7 investigator Ross Jones.
Some people are meant to be the police, and some people are meant to call the police. He's someone who's meant to call the police.
This is a story about a sheriff's deputy who's not allowed to be a police officer.
This man is not qualified to be in public safety at all, period.
Until his latest job, Jamonte Horton had been fired or forced to resign from every law enforcement department he's worked for. Today, he wears a badge from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Jamonte Horton was hired less than 2 years ago by the Sheriff's Office. He came there after being rejected by the Detroit Police Department and the Macomb County Sheriff's Office, and failing the background checks with Farmington Hills Police and Waterford Police. Horton's problems began early in his career. While only a cadet with Wayne State Police, he showed up to a party with a loaded gun. After a fight broke out, Horton was shot and returned fire. He resigned in 2015 for his role in the shooting. His next stop, Ypsilanti Police, where Horton was written up for missing shifts, found sleeping in his patrol vehicle, and caught playing a homemade pornographic video featuring himself to his fellow officers while on duty. He was also written up for putting those officers at risk, leaving a sergeant alone during a traffic stop and missing a knife during a search of a domestic violence suspect. And when he was working a sexual assault investigation, Horton failed to follow simple orders that led the case to be ignored for 2.5 months, leaving the suspect free on the streets.
Victims are the reason why police departments are in business, to help victims and to prevent people from being victims.
Ricardo Moore is a commissioner with the Detroit Police Department who rejected Horton's applications twice.
He shouldn't be trusted with the privilege of being a police officer.
Facing termination from Ypsilanti, Horton resigned in 2019. His chief said he'd been given multiple opportunities to improve, but still wasn't capable of completing his core duties like coming to work and remaining awake. His next stop, the Highland Park Police Department, where Horton's judgment was questioned early and often.
Who stabbed who? I ain't stabbed nobody, man.
In 2020, Horton responded to the scene of a stabbing at a club along Woodward Avenue. When it was time to handcuff a suspect, Horton was seen handing his department-issued AR-15 rifle to a strip club security guard, a violation of department policy. In a separate incident, while searching for a suspect, Horton did a U-turn across 2 lanes of traffic, striking another vehicle. According to Highland Park PD, he kept driving without checking on the driver he just hit. But the final straw came in 2022. While Horton was out on patrol, he heard over the radio that Detroit and Michigan State Police were engaged in a high-speed pursuit. According to Highland Park's investigation, Horton was ordered not to get involved in the chase, but he did anyway. And when he did, according to investigators, Horton manually turned off his body cam during the pursuit.
Why did you turn the camera off?
When questioned by Internal Affairs, Horton said the camera malfunctioned.
I didn't engage in no chase. I wasn't involved in the chase or anything.
But GPS data confirmed he was involved in the chase, and according to Internal Affairs, Horton made several false statements during the investigation. Highland Park called Horton's misconduct egregious, and as it prepared to fire him, he resigned in October 2022. 3 weeks later,
We really do want you on our team.
the Wayne County Sheriff's Office made Jamonte Horton a deputy. Since he resigned in Highland Park 2 years ago, Horton's law enforcement license was deactivated by the state, meaning he can't serve as a police officer until it's turned back on. But it turns out you don't need an active law enforcement license to work as a deputy inside a jail where Horton works today.
We want to hire individuals committed to serving our citizens with honor and integrity.
Would you say that honor and integrity are words that apply to that deputy?
I would say definitely not.
Glenn Anderson is a Wayne County commissioner.
It's very surprising that with a record like that we would have him working in the sheriff's department.
We wanted to ask Sheriff Washington why his office hired Horton after so many other departments took a pass, but he declined. So we caught up with him at a budget hearing earlier this month.
Did the sheriff's office lower its standards to hire Jamonte Horton?
We never lower standards. Never.
How troubled are you that he was found to have been untruthful?
I'm troubled that happened. If that is indeed a fact, I don't know that to be a fact. Nobody has talked to me about that part of it.
Well, you hired him, sir. Is that a concern?
Our agency hired him.
Washington told us he had nothing to do with Horton's hiring, but that's his signature on a document asking the state to reactivate his law enforcement license, allowing him to police the streets. But last week, the state said no, issuing an intent to deny the county's request, saying Horton did not meet the character fitness standard to be an officer.
He was hired by several agencies.
He was fired by several agencies or forced to resign.
I don't know about our last.
He was fired or forced to resign from 3 different agencies.
I have no first-hand knowledge of that again.
Is that not something you should know about?
I'm going to know about it, and when I know about it, we'll address it.
We left voicemails, texts, and emails for Deputy Horton. He did not respond. If he chooses to, he can appeal the state's decision not to reactivate his law enforcement license. Even without it, though, he is still allowed to remain a deputy inside the jail. Sheriff Washington told me Horton has a stellar record since joining the county. I'm Ross Jones, 7 News, Detroit.
All right, Ross, thank you so much.